Hallo, viele Grüße aus Leamington. So, I've reached the end of my internship in Berlin, I've hopped onto a plane, and I'm now reporting to you from my home in the New Forest. I've been back for just under a week so far, and the weather has been very welcoming, as have the local people. References are done, and all my reports are finished, so all that requires rounding off are the final 2.5 weeks of my stay in Berlin, which were full of history, music, sport, and a few rather unusual contextual parallels. Our host organisation booked some tickets to go and see a concert at the Spandau Zitadelle. The concert was of 16th century Italian dance music and was rather bizarrely played by an all-German ensemble, but the concert programme itself was actually very nice, very pleasant. The concert itself actually lasted 2.5 hours, and I was there until the final encore, so it can't have been too excruciating. The ensemble itself consisted of a large group of woodwind musicians, all playing period instruments, a percussionist, and a keyboard player for some movements, as well as a solo baritone vocalist for various different movements throughout the programme. But as opposed to me waffling on about it, here is an example of some of their music. Continuing on the musical theme, I decided to treat myself to a ticket to go and see the Berlin Philharmonic Orchestra in concert, which is something I've actually wanted to do ever since I was a young child. And I was particularly lucky that on the 19th of April there was a very good concert programme on offer, and that I was lucky enough to grab the penultimate available seat before the event actually sold out. And the programme itself was very pleasant, very nice. It included the Lutoslawski double concerto for oboe, harp and string ensemble. It also included Dutilleux's L'Arbre des Songs, I'm pretty sure I said that incorrectly, which was a violin concerto. And in the second half, the orchestra performed Beethoven's Sixth Symphony, and this was all conducted by Simon Rattle. And it was an experience. Sitting inside the Philharmonie Hall, it's something that's not to be reckoned with. I think it's the finest concert venue I've ever attended, and was hands down the best professional performance I have heard in my lifetime. Our group went on a lads' day out to the Olympic Stadium in Berlin to watch the local football team Hertha BSC take on SV Sandhausen, which is a team from near Heidelberg. And it was my first time not only going to a football match but also going to the Olympic Stadium, so it made for a very interesting afternoon out. The local team won 1-0 and earned promotion into the Bundesliga, so we decided to go on a very good weekend for the team. The stadium itself, I think, had a capacity of around 80,000 people, and rather interestingly was the first stadium of its kind to use surround lighting which eliminated the shadows of the players on the field. But maybe I'm getting into rather too much detail there. But nonetheless, it was an incredibly interesting day out, and it was nice to be part of a big crowd. I thought it'd be really nice to round off the final weekend in Berlin by organising a little boat trip along the Spree River, which set out from Schloss Charlottenburg and ended up at the Jannowitzbrücke just past the city centre, the journey itself taking no more than 1.5 hours. And I was very glad to be joined by a few friends on this little journey, and it was a very pleasant last opportunity to say goodbye to the city and to see some of the sights as they're meant to be seen. It also drew a rather bizarre parallel to one of the beginner's German videos I studied in the 1990s, which is about an immigrant who travels to Germany to gain relevant work experience and, funnily enough, learn the language. And the series actually ends off by them all going on a river cruise and discussing the future, which I thought was quite a nice similarity to draw between that situation and my own, be it somewhat strange. So there you go, my 12 weeks in Berlin are complete, and I have returned safely back to my home in the New Forest. And I think I'm going to round things off there, but before I go, I would just like to say thank you very much to those of you who've been following me on my little adventures in Germany over the last 12 weeks, and for those of you who've kept in contact with me. And yeah, I feel very flattered that anyone's taken an interest in what I've been getting up to since February. And as for what's next, I'm going to be getting back into what I love most, writing and composing new music and making new recordings, and I have all sorts actually to share with you in the next couple of weeks, so do watch this space for more news and for more sounds. They're on their way. So thanks once again, take care, and farewell.